Hello, this is Life Master AJ Goldsby. I'm coming back bringing you part 2 of my video on the game from the London Chess Classic between Vishy Anand and Nakamura. We've already covered the first 30 moves in part 1, so I'm not going to cover those in any detail here. We're just going to quickly run through the game and quickly get to the point to where we left off in part 1. Again, I've already covered all these moves in part 1. Basically, the while I'm getting there, the standard ideas in the King's Indian is that white on, especially in this classical variation where white castles kingside, is white should quickly try to punch through and open lines on the queen side as quickly as possible, and of course black should not be sitting idle. Black should be doing basically the same thing on the king side, and basically the first person to break through is usually the person that wins. We're just going to quickly get to the critical position here because we've already covered these first 30 moves here in part 1, and we left off here. Black's last move was he plays h4 here, and which is probably one of the main ideas there. That's what black should go ahead and do is to push forward his h pawn and rip open. The idea is to expose the white king to the attack as much as possible. As I already said, we covered the first 30 moves in part 1, so we're just going to go ahead and pick up our analysis here in part 2 with here. Now here, white should probably play rook a2. That would be white's best move, playing this rook to a2. That rook covers the second rank, and it serves both offense and defense. Gets the rook to slightly better square, can come over to any file where it's needed, and also on a2 will help indirectly defend the black king. White doesn't do that. He plays rook f2, which is kind of like the wrong rook. I mean, the rook on f2 already had a job and was doing something and was helping to defend the white king position. So anyway, Nakamura plays h3, again the correct idea, trying to bust up the white's king side there. G takes h3, rook c8. That's a good move, taking a tempo out. He's not worried about this pawn because it's defended laterally by here. But the idea is get this rook into the game. That was a very alert tactical move. White plays rook a5, and now black plays knight h4. Now compared to just a few moves ago, as we discussed in part 1, well, let's just back up a minute. Right about here, it's going back here, just when white played bishop c4, I guess that would be about the best position there. When white played bishop c4 and then black played rook g7, this position is considered to be completely won by the computers. You fire up any chess engine and it'll be 3 to 5 points, but it's just an overwhelming landslide victory for white. Even though any material hasn't changed hands, basically black's kingside counterplay is not anywhere near as fast as it should be, and white's pieces have just obviously just totally invaded, taken over the queen side. These pawns on b6 and d6 have a completely paralyzing effect on black's positions. And again, now the best move here is simply rook a2. White should simply play that rook to a2, and that's absolutely the best move here. And this is where Anand slowly begins to go wrong. Instead of rook a2 here, he plays knight e6. Black takes, white takes, g takes h2, and now knight c4. And now we have another error because Nakamura gets queen e8 with a gain of time in. Again, the white bishop should go to h3. Anand doesn't do it. He puts the bishop back on d5, h4, and running back to the moves here, rook c8, 33 rook a5, and now 33 knight h4. And now compared to just a few moves ago when white was clearly winning, suddenly we have the table's complete turnaround. Total different situation. Suddenly all the engines are showing black to be winning. And it's just amazing this game, what kind of turnaround we had in this game. And it really weren't blunders. I mean, they weren't horrible moves, not by a long shot, but it's just by, just finding the less than best move, how suddenly white went from winning completely to, totally losing here. Now here probably the best move for white is rook takes h2. But, the analysis is very difficult, and I'm not sure what Anand saw. Only Anand can answer, what he was actually seeing in his variations over the board. So I would say that, what Anand did was what I do and what any chess player does. Simply analyzes as hard as he can in as much time as he can, and he plays the variation that he believes that is the most difficult for his opponent to find a refutation of, or the one he can't find a refutation for of himself over the board. So he plays king takes h2. Which seems like maybe even the second best move there. But again, doesn't matter what white plays here, even after rook takes h2. Black's going to have a very nice attack, e.g., if rook takes h2, knight takes d5, e takes d5, and then e4. And basically, any chess engine will show you this to be a completely one position for black. Instead of, rook takes h2 there, Anand plays king takes h2. And, knight d7. And at this point here is where Nakamura actually missed a forced win for black. And I want to quickly just show that to you. And again, you can confirm this with any chess engine. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as it's a good, strong, reliable chess engine with a good reputation. It's going to help you find the best moves. Here, the correct continuation for black was knight takes d5 exclam. White has to take with the pawn. If he recaptures with the queen, then just simply queen g6, and you got threats of queen here check and then queen there mate. So white's completely busted. White has to play e takes d5. That's box or completely forced. Now black plays rook g3, queen f1, queen h5, d7, rook d8, bishop takes f8. Now the normal natural move for most players, I believe, and I've been playing chess for a long time, I'm 53 and been playing chess since I was very young, would be the normal natural move would be the simple recapture on f8. But black plays something totally different here. Plays rook takes d7. And now, again, this is all engine analysis. Bishop d6, knight takes f3 check. White is forced to give up the rook. Rook takes. Bishop e5 check, king g8, queen g2 check, rook g3, rook a2, and now rook h7. And here, this variation is literally it's 9 or 10 moves long. And here it's easy to see that white has been totally overpowered on the h3 square. The threat is queen takes pawn check, queen takes queen. The rook on h7 takes the queen on h3, and that would be a checkmate. And because of that variation, white's forced here to give up his queen when the win is very easy for black. But that's a very hard variation, I believe, to see, and especially if you were short of time. But Nakamura, I just wanted to point that out, that Nakamura missed a forced win here. He played a fairly reasonable move, knight d7, which is getting the knight out of the way of the queen and preparing to shift everything over to the king side. And that might be a second or third best move. But anyway, bishop b4, rook g3, queen f1, queen h5. And here, any chess engine will show you that black is clearly better in this position. Not a forced win necessarily, but just clearly much, much better. And now white plays rook a3. That's, again, probably a good move, probably forced. White has to try to bring the reserves up and defend this f3 square. Obviously, if this f3 falls, white's just doomed, and that's what happens in the game. And now, I believe black had another chance at another totally won game here. And it's based on a really neat tactic. He should have played knight takes b6. He didn't find that. But let's just quickly look at that line because that's very interesting. Knight takes b6, and now white has to play rook c3. The trap is if white plays knight takes b6, then you get rook c1, and if the queen takes, check, takes, queen there mate. That was the main idea of that whole knight takes b6 and the rook penetrating down the c file. And apparently Nakamura missed this. Maybe he was in time trouble here. But anyway, the correct move, according to the engines, would be white has to play rook c3. That's forced or boxed. And now knight takes d5, e takes d5, rook d8. And now white really doesn't have a good move. He can play pretty much anything. But anyway, bishop a3, that's just a move there to make a move. And now black's next move is just b5, kicking this knight on c4. And once this knight on c4 falls, then black just simply plays bishop takes d6. And white's position is just totally beginning to fall apart. Black's going to win material, have two connect pass pawns on the queen side. He still has a very powerful king side attack. And basically, any chess engine will confirm to you that, white's just busted in that position, completely lost. But again, Nakamura did not find that continuation. And backing up here, when white played the move rook a3, Nakamura actually played an inferior move, a bad move. He played a5. I don't know what that move was about. I think white could just simply play bishop takes pawn on a5. But for whatever reason, he doesn't find that move. He plays bishop e1, which is not a bad move. The idea is a discovered attack on this pawn here. And, rather a discovered attack on the rook on g3 when this rook here on f2 moves. And now the best move is, again, knight takes b6. And I won't go through that line. You can find all my analysis on my webpage. And, again, I'll post a link to my webpage. And if you look at the video box on the YouTube video, there's a box just below the square there where it shows the video, and there's a section there that says show more. And if you'll just click on that, I'll put the link for my webpage in that section on the YouTube page for this video. But anyway, and all my analysis can be found on the my webpage, which is already ready. All I have to do is post the diagrams, and I'll get that posted within a very short period of time. Before I post this video, actually, the webpage will be up and be posted. But anyway, here Nakamura plays a sham sacrifice. He plays rook takes c4, which is probably the second best move here. And that's really not a sacrifice at all, not a real sacrifice, because black's guaranteed to take this pawn and then come here, and if this rook moves, white dies. So basically, because of those threats, that black is guaranteed to get his exchange back. So this is like a sham sack. Of course, white has to take. He can't just go down a whole piece. Bishop takes c4, bishop takes d6. This is a tempo gaining move, hitting the rook on a3. And now I believe white has to play the move rook d3. Any chess engine, Fritz, Ribka, Houdini, etc. will show you, I guarantee it'll show you the rook d3 is 100% forced there. Here white plays rook takes a5. I got to think that Anand here at this point must have been in really bad time trouble, because he just plays one bad move right after another. And obviously Anand's a very good player, and the only way I think that he could have played such bad moves was he was just desperately short of time. But whatever the reason here at this point, Anand just totally loses his grip on the position. He played, again, the correct move was rook d3. White plays rook takes a5. Now black plays bishop c5, and you have this threat of taking this rook on f2, and this rook on f2 is an integral part of white's game. And I don't think that, and this rook can't retreat to a3 to guard f3, so I think at this point black has to sack for this bishop here, because you don't want to lose control of the f3 square. But black is still much, much better. You fire up any chess engine, clearly show that, but Anand plays another bad move here. Instead of playing the correct rook takes c5, he plays bishop e2, and that's just another bad move. And, now Nakamura plays just bishop takes b6. He could have gone ahead and captured on b2, which was also winning. Just quickly show you that variation. Instead of, after bishop e2, instead of that bishop takes bishop takes b6 move, black could have just simply played bishop takes f2, knight takes f3 check, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, rook a1, rook g7. And this position is just completely winning for black. And you can fire up any chess engine, and it will confirm that. Instead of, after bishop e2, Nakamura played bishop takes b6. That's kind of a natural move there. I understand that move. That b6 pawn was very dangerous. He's worried about if he ever lost this, like check here, and a rook, if this knight moves, check here, and a rook comes behind here and picks off this pawn, and then the pawn on b6 would only be 2 squares away from queening. So I think it's a very natural response for a player to want to get rid of that pawn. And now, once more, the correct move is simply rook d5, and Anand plays another bad move. He plays rook b5. I don't know why he put the rook there, and now bishop d4. And now the only move, again, is rook d5 here for white. Anand plays just a total, very bad move here. Again, rook d5 was 100% forced. He played bishop d1 instead of rook d5. And that's got to be the losing move. I mean, that's like a double question mark. After this, black's position just totally, white's position just totally falls apart, and black just dominates. The rest is pretty much a mopping up operation. You don't really need to spend a lot of time on that. Black takes the rook, white recaptures, knight f3 check. Again, white's got to force to capture. Bishop, queen takes. Rook b1, rook g6, rook takes b7, knight f6, rook b8 check, king h7, rook b7 check, king h6. And here, it's Anand is white resign. Simply put, the pawn on e4 is guaranteed to fall. It's double attacked twice. It's defended 0. So this pawn is guaranteed to go, which means that within just 1 or 2 moves, black's going to win this pawn and then have, pawns, just 2 connected passers rolling up the chessboard, which is an easy win for black. And that's why Anand he resigns. He turns down his king at this position. And that concludes my coverage of this game. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Again, if you'd like to contribute to my PayPal account, if you really enjoy my videos and would like to help support my efforts, please do go to the PayPal website, and my email is lifemasteraj@yahoo.com, and you can contribute to my websites and my video building efforts. And also too, you'll find a link to the PayPal account on my website itself. You go to my main website, which you can find with any chess engine. And I would just like to thank you for watching my part 2 of my video on the Anand Nakamura game. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.